Gardening week. Okay, week 2. Who's ready for week 2? Gardening week. This is also a fun one. I'm going to say that every time because they're all fun. They're all unique. Gardening week. If you open up to our overview page, you have this really cute, muddy little baby and a little preview of what might be to come. And he's just very cute in the mud. All right, because it is gardening week, so all of you families who like to kind of add on, we're doing mud, we're doing bugs. You could do a bug study if you want. I always love seeing what everyone kind of adds on to like unit studies for these ideas. So all my bug people, it's a good bug study week. So our story is the dandelion. So we wake up and it is gardening day. Thumbkin and Hamilton are headed over to Rutabugs for kind of everyone working the garden day. And Thumbkin sings endearingly about his good friend and how he is such a good gardener and what makes a good gardener. And this is a really, really fun song. It's a fun one, and it just also really sums up what a good gardener is. So talking about Rutabaga and how he is such a good gardener. And then they're doing some weeding, and then they come across a dandelion. And of course, a dandelion does not belong in the carrot bed. But then we have Emerald. So Emerald is kind of our if she was like a real person, she would be like the veterinarian or like just, you know, the gardener. Like she's just like is very much like caring for the plants. So she's the green fairy. So instead of like ripening a lot of the fruit like the other fairies, she's kind of the healer fairy. So it's like if the leaves are turning brown, she can help restore things back to green. So she is a plant lover. I mean, they all are, but her especially is just kind of her as the green fairy. She's just very in tune with the garden and with everything green. And so then she says, "Save the dandelion," and has this beautiful song, "Save the Dandelion." I love this song, and true story, it was because of our summer test group, a member in there, we had already had Good Gardener and the next song, Dandelion Band, and she said, "Can we have like a sweet dandelion song?" And so per request, that was a perk of a test group, is you can actually ask Nathaniel by request to write a song, and he did, and it is lovely. One of the favorites of the summer album, honestly. It is so sweet. So she sings "Save the Dandelion," and yes, they decide, all right, we can put these in the field instead. And then Morrison comes and pops up, and then we have Dandelion Band, where he takes an old dandelion stalk into a dandelion trumpet, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and plays a Dandelion Band on his little dandelion trumpet, which is totally like New Orleans swing. And then I almost said Sophie, Tourmaline. Tourmaline gets swept up, holding on the little dandelion seeds, and it's a really, really fun little end. So here's Morrison playing his dandelion trumpet. Really, really fun. Of course, our 3 songs this week: Good Gardener, Save the Dandelion, and Dandelion Band. Sophie, if you didn't know, Tourmaline is 100% modeled after our little daughter, Sophie. So any of the chaos you hear about in the stories is inspired by true events. She is that equal combination of cute and chaos, and it's adorable. So we've had a lot of fun writing her into these stories. So lots of fun range of music in this week too. We have this fun, like honestly, Good Gardener, if you're kind of millennial, it's kind of like a stomp, clap, hey, like if you can picture like Mumford and Sons playing Good Gardener, like jamming on a banjo, like totally that vibes. And then Save the Dandelion is so sweet. And then Dandelion Band is like swing. So it's so fun, lots of different styles here. Lots of fun mud kitchen finds in the Dollar Tree. And speaking of mud, so our first activity for our kind of sensory morning is stick your kids in the mud. Literally, your lesson is mud play. Make up some mud, mentally prepare that it'll be a bath and laundry day. Let your kids make the mud pies, get dirty, be kids. Let them just enjoy. We have some real proof of our own mud play here in this photo. If you don't have like access to normal mud, you can go on a nature outing, on a mud hunt, or just like get some soil from the store, mix it with water, and let your kids enjoy making mud pies. It is a good thing of childhood to be able to just enjoy the mud. So enjoy mud play. That is actually your lesson. And Joy, welcome to your first live stream. Glad to have you here. Always fun when people get to join for the first time. Okay, so morning activity, mud play, and our main lesson is going to be gardening. So if you can, get your kids actually in the garden, get them caring for the garden, watering, weeding, noticing what plants are which, and caring for the garden. And if you don't have a garden yourself, if you can take them to a community garden or a friend's house, get them in the garden. But I also do have an alternative method for especially those of you who might be in kind of classroom settings or just can't get outside to a garden that day. You can also do kind of a pretend play prompt inside. So like a farmer's market or garden pretend play, if you can, set up a little farmer's market stand or something like that. Still kind of have the spirit of gardening inside if you can. But of course, if you can get out into a real garden and do some gardening, whatever that looks like, highly recommend this week for gardening week. Now for day 2, our morning activity is going to be a bug hunt. And part of the story, little Tourmaline is playing with the bugs. And so we're gonna go on a bug hunt. You can use a little magnifying glass if you want, that's optional. But try to not only find bugs, but try to locate the helpers of the garden. So the little roly-poly bugs and the bees and the ladybugs, all of those bugs that are actually helpful to the garden. See how many you can find and go on a little bug hunt. Of course, they can notice the differences between bugs and all their little legs and stuff, but bugs are good, so even if they're creepy, bug hunt. So bug hunt for the morning. I let my kids do this on their own because I didn't necessarily want to see the bugs, but they had a great time. So. All right, now our baking day this week is in preparation for our kind of culminative little garden pudding cup activity. So this might be nostalgic for a lot of us who had this like in elementary school. The little like dirt mud cups is what we're working towards. But of course I have some great homemade recipes for you to make this. Now also, if you don't want to make the homemade things, you can absolutely grab a packet of Jell-O and some Oreos and still enjoy this recipe. Absolutely no judgment here. So this is however much effort you want to put. These recipes are super yummy. I have the crispy chocolate cookies and the chocolate pudding. But I know even with the chocolate cookies, it might feel like a lot of work for cookies that are just gonna get smashed. So however much effort you feel like putting into this activity, it is up to you, but these are really yummy recipes if you'd like to make them yourself, or of course you can grab a box of whatever crispy chocolate cookies of choice or pudding, but they're both really great recipes, and of course we have those adaptations for anyone who needs them. So you're gonna make that on day 2, save them, and have them ready for our kind of end of week activity on day 3. Morning activity for day 3 is going to be sidewalk chalk. As I mentioned in our summer planning video, this is kind of a summer spin on crayons. So instead of crayons at the table, we're doing gross motor drawing on the street or on the concrete or on the patio, whatever you can. It's just a great kind of summertime version, and also gets them drawing with their bodies, and it's just a completely different drawing experience, and always so fun. So get them out doing sidewalk chalk. Again, if it's too hot or if you can't, crayons is also always a really great backup for that activity. And then our main lesson for painting day, kind of our summer art day. My kid better create Nathaniel level art on the sidewalk. Take pictures if they do. Our culminative recipe and activity for this week is these sweet little pudding cup gardens. But what's so fun about these is not just the cookies and the pudding, to actually have them create little gardens if you can. So if you have an herb garden or some edible flowers or some rosemary, sage, thyme, anything like that, they can go collect little herbs and actually make a sweet little garden out of their little pudding cups. So have them, and in your next page I have kind of step by step, have them crush those cookies, scoop their little pudding into their bowls, and decorate their gardens, and then of course eat and enjoy. Now, for my supply people, I have these beautiful little clear bowls so you can actually like see the gardens, but this is something you can totally use what you have. It could be a jar, it could be a normal bowl. It doesn't have to be these specific ones. Your supply kits will include those, but if you're looking at your supplies and kind of seeing what do I need specifically, this is one of those things that use what you got. Just the point is that you kind of want to be able to see their little creations, but you can really use any bowl or any jar or any dish you have on hand, really. But they turn out really beautiful. They actually surprised me how sweet, and just seeing the little creativity of where they put the little flowers and everything is really, really sweet. And then they get to eat and enjoy, and they are quite delicious if you do the homemade recipes. Now, bonus activity for gardening week. is Dandelion Trumpets. Now, first of all, this beautiful photo of my child blowing a dandelion. This is not actually how you do a dandelion trumpet. I didn't have an actual photo of someone really making a dandelion trumpet, but we had already used like the Morrison photo a lot. So I just wanted to add this photo in dandelion in this week. So to make a dandelion trumpet, I'm actually not going to like try to play it, but a dandelion stalk, okay, you're just gonna like take part of it off. If you want, you can kind of split the end just with your fingernail, so it kind of has things to like vibrate on. If you want, you can also try to like make a little like flute hole if you want, but make sure it doesn't go all the way through. And then you will just actually like blow really hard like a trumpet. I'm not gonna do it right now because it would look really silly. And it's actually quite hard. You actually have to blow really hard, and sometimes it doesn't even work. So you might try this and be like, oh, we couldn't get it. It's hard. But if you can, it's really quite hilarious. And then if you want to try to make the little, like, you know, just take the top off to make little trumpet holes, you can. So and this could really be done with, I think, mostly any flower that has like a tube stalk. So I know someone doesn't have dandelions nearby you, so use what you have. And again, this is only like if you want to try. Morrison does make a dandelion trumpet, and that's how he plays Dandelion Band. So give it a try, but it would be a very hard blow to make a little dandelion trumpet. So I'll let you guys experiment with that in your own homes. But it's pretty silly once you get it. We were cracking up once we got that noise to come. And dandelion, yes, also dandelions, dandelion tea, dandelion stuff, like dandelions are great. So if you do have them, you can chat about all the things you can do with dandelions. But warning, if you do a dandelion trumpet, it is quite bitter. So just warning there. We also use straws before our trumpet, so because we were short on flowers. So yes, you could probably makeshift lots of little trumpet style things.